Hey, hello and welcome back students. Welcome to the MEG-03 playlist. So in this video, I'm going to cover The Prime of Miss Brodie by Muriel Spark. So from this video, I will try to explain you in this way. If this looks great for you, so let me know in the comments below. I'll make more video like this. So without any further wait, I'm starting The Prime of Miss Brodie by Muriel Spark. It is published in 1961, a short but powerful novel about charismatic teacher, her favorite students, and dangerous power of influence. The author is Muriel Spark. It is published in 1961. As I told you, the genre is modernist fiction, setting in the Edinburgh in 1930s. Now let's talk on about author. About Muriel Spark. He born in Edinburgh, Scotland in 1918 and died in 2006. One of the greatest British novelists of the 20th century. Converted to Roman Catholicism in 1954. This deeply influenced her writing. He is known for short, sharp, witty novels with darkness theme. Her style mixes dark humor, satire, and moral seriousness. The Prime of Miss Brodie is 1961, is her most famous work made into a film and stage play. Here is the idea so you can remember this. Spark is equal to Scottish plus Catholic convert versus dark wit. Her own life as an outsider shaped how wrote about control, faith, and betrayal. Now let's talk on about overview. The novel at a glance. Setting in the Edinburgh, Scotland, Mackay Bliney School of Girls in 1930s. Miss Brodie is a teacher in her prime who picks 6 favorite girls, the Brodie set. She folds their minds with her personal views of art, love, politics, and fascism. One of her own girls eventually betrays her to the headmasters. The story jumps between 1930s school days and the future. We know early on the Brodies will be betrayal. The central mysteries who betrayal Miss Brodie and why. Remember this. Think of it a puzzle. You know the ending from the beginning. The novels asks how did we get there? So now let's move forward to the plot. Plot summaries step by step. Number 1. Introductions of Miss Brodie. We meet Miss Brodie, a passionate, unconventional teacher. As a conservative Edinburgh school, she teaches art history and life in her own dramatic way. Number 2. The Brodie set. She selects 6 special girls: Sandy, Monica, Rose, Jenny, Mary, and Eunice. She calls them the creams de la cream and give them special attention. Number 3. Her loves and influence. She is in love with Mr. Lloyd, a married art teacher, but has relationships with Mr. Lowther, music teacher. She projects her romantic feelings into her girls. Number 4. Faces sympathies. Miss Brodie admires Mussolini and Franco. She feels and girls with romantic ideas about fascism, which has tragic consequences. Number 5. Joyce Emily and Spain. She encourages a girl, Joyce Emily, to go fight and Franco in the Spanish Civil War. Joyce Emily dies on the way. This is Miss Brodie's greatest moral crime. Number 6. The Betrayal. Sandy is the most intelligent of the set. Eventually reports Miss Brodie of headmasters. Miss Mackay. Brodie is forced to retire early. She never finds out who betrayed her. Number 7. The Aftermath. Sandy becomes a nun, Sister Helena of a Transfigurations, and writes a famous psychology paper. Miss Brodie dies of cancer. Sandy remains haunted. Now let's talk on the characters. Here are the main characters. Miss Brodie, the teacher, protagonist. Passionate, romantic, controlling, domestic beliefs. She is destined for greatness, has faces sympathies. Her primes is her period of great confidence and influence. Sandy Stranger, the betrayer, most complex character. Quiet, perspective, analytical, appears loyal but secretly understands Brodie better than anyone. Eventually betrays her and becomes a nun. She is haunted by Brodie's even after. Rose Santley, the sexy one. Miss Brodie believes Rose will never have an affair with Mr. Lloyd on her behalf, but it is Sandy who does, subverting Miss Brodie's plans. Mary McGregor, the scapegoat, slow, plain, and always blamed by Miss Brodie. She later dies in a hotel fire, represents innocent victims of Brodie's thoughtfulness. Mr. Lloyd, the art teacher, married Catholic. Miss Brodie is in love with him but cannot act on it. He paints all the Brodie's girls to look like Miss Brodie. Sandy has an affair with him. Miss Mackay, the headmistress, tries for years to find a reason to dismiss Miss Brodie, represent conventional, institutional authority against Brodie's individualism. Next. Now let's talk on Miss Brodie. Miss Brodie's deep analysis. Now let's deep analysis about Miss Brodie. She is in her prime, the best, most confident period of her life. She is around 40. She teaches through passion and personal stories, not textbooks. She loves Renaissance's art, opera, and great men of history. She is charismatic and inspiring, but also manipulative and self-deluded. She admires Mussolini and Franco. She romanticizes fascism without understanding its violence. She is in love with Mr. Lloyd but cannot have him. He is married. She is pride, so she controls others' loves' lives instead. She sees herself as a heroic figure, like an artist shaping the girls like clay. Tragic irony. She is betrayed by the very girl she most influenced, Sandy. So, is she a hero or villain? Spark deliberately makes this ambitious. Remember this, Miss Brodie is neither purely good nor purely evil. She is brilliant, romantic, dangerous, and pathetic all at once. The ambiguity is the heart of the novel. Now let's talk about Sandy Stranger. Deep analysis about this. Sandy has small, almost invisible eyes, symbolizing her hidden, watchful nature. She is the most intellectually gifted of the Brodies set. She alone fully understands Miss Brodie. As a child, she fantasizes widely about fictionals, detectives about Miss Brodie's love life. She has an affair with Mr. Lloyd, but uses it to understand Brodie's not out of real love. She betrays Miss Brodie, but why? Because sees Brodie's fascism led to Joyce Emily's death, or because she wants to escape Brodie's control, or both. She converts to Catholicism and becomes a nun, Sister Helena of the Transfigurations. She writes a famous psychology paper called The Transfigurations and Commonplace. Even as a nun, she is haunted. Visitors find her gripping her convent grill. She cannot escape Brodie's influence. Sandy is the true protagonist. She observes everything Brodie gives her and then uses it to destroy her. She is Brodie's greatest creations and greatest enemy. So let's move forward. Now let's talk on some important themes: influence and manipulations. Miss Brodie's greatest desires is to influence. She says, "Give me a girl an impressionable age and she is mine for life." She treats the girls like an artist treats a canvas. She wants to shape them in her image. But influence can become control. She tries to decide who the girls will love, when they will do, who they will become. Here's the irony. Her influence backfires Sandy. Her most influenced students uses everything she learned from Brodie's betrayal her. Mr. Lloyd paints all the Brodie's girls to look like Miss Brodie, showing now she is overwriting their identities. The most dangerous result, she influences Joyce Emily to go Spain and Joyce Emily dies. Remember this. The themes ask where does inspirations end and manipulations begin. Brodie never sees herself as controlling. She thinks she is liberating the girl. Now let's talk on theme, fascism and politics. The novel is set in the 1930s, the rise of Hitler, Mussolini and Franco in Europe. Miss Brodie admires Mussolini and Franco. She sees them as romantic, strong men of destiny. She does not understand the violence and the evil of fascism. She romanticizes it dangerously. Spark draws a parallel. Miss Brodie herself is a kind of fascist. She demands royalty, controls her girls and cannot tolerate disobedience. Her fascism has a direct consequences. She sends Joyce Emily to fight for Franco. Joyce Emily dies. This is the key reason Sandy finally betrays her. It is not just personal, it is moral. Here you can remember this. Brodie's fascism is not just political background, it mirrors her personality. She is a small-scale dictator in the classroom. Here are the sample. Now let's talk on themes about betrayal. Betrayal is central of the novel. Miss Brodie is eventually betrayed and forced out of her job. The novel creates suspense. Who betrayed her? We find out late in the story. It was Sandy. Sandy betrayal in complex. She does it not out of hatred, but because she sees the moral danger of Miss Brodie's influence. Was it right to betray her? The novel refuses to give a simple answer. Miss Brodie feels it as a deep wound. She says she has betrayal like Julius Caesar, comparing herself to tragic hero. Here is the irony. Brodie always feared betrayal from one of her girls. She suspected the wrong ones. Janice Rose, never Sandy. Even after becoming a nun, Sandy is not free. She is still haunted. Was the betrayal truly justifications? She seems unsure. Betrayal her. Remember this. Betrayal here is not simple. It is tied to love, moral responsibility, and the struggle is break free and from someone's influence. Now let's talk on theme, education and its purpose. The novel questions about what education is really for and who it serves. The schools. Marcia Blaney represents conventional, safe, institutional education, facts, obedience, conformity. Miss Brodie represents a different kind of education, passion, art, culture, self-expressions. At first, Brodie approaches seems liberations and exciting compared to the dull school system. But gradually, we see that Brodie's education is also self-serving. She uses the girls to live out her own fantasies. The girls are not truly educated to be free, they are educated to be Brodie's disciples. True education should produce independent thinkers. Brodie's produce flowers. Expect Sandy, who breaks free. Remember this, Sparks asks, is an inspiring teacher who imposes their will actually liberating students or just replacing one cage with another? Now let's talk on religion and conversion. Religion, especially Catholicism, is important throughout the novel. Sandy eventually converts to Catholicism and becomes a nun. Sister Helena of the Transfigurations. Sandy's conversion seems linked to her affair with the Catholic Mr. Lloyd and her need to understand the escape Brodie's influence. Her famous psychology paper, The Transfigurations of the Commonplace, has a religious title. Transfigurations means transformation through the divine. But Sandy is not appeased as a nun. She still grips the convent grills with white necklace and visitors come. She is not free. Brodie's influence has been transfigured into Sandy. It has shaped who is she, even her faith and psychology. Religion in the novel represents a search of structure, meaning and moral authority. Things Brodie's falsely promised girls. Remember this, Sandy turns to God partly to find something stronger than Miss Brodie's personality, but Brodie's grip never fully releases her. Now let's talk on what is this prime. The prime, the peak of period of someone's life, the best, most powerful, most a lifetime. Miss Brodie is in her prime in the 1930s, confident, passionate, and highest of her power. She dramatically decrees, I am in my prime. She believes this make her special, chosen, distinct. Irony number 1. Her prime is also the time she causes the most harm. Joyce Emily's death, her girls' manipulations. Irony number 2. Her prime ends not with glory but the betrayal and forced retirement. The novel questions the idea of prime. Does having a prime make Brodie's great or dangerous, or both? Each character has their own kind of prime. Sandy's come later in her nun's skull as a thinker and writer. Remember this, prime sounds positive, but Spark shows that being at your most powerful, most yourself can also make you most harmful to others. Now let's talk on narrative technique, how Spark tells the story. Non-linear, non-chronological. The story jumps between 1930s school days and the future where the girls become. We know the end early on. Prolapses, flash forward, Spark frequently jump ahead. Mary McClure, who later died in the hotel fire, this creates dramatic irony. We know more than the characters do. Omniscient narrator. The narrator knows everything past, present and future of all characters. The narrator is detached and ironic. Irony and dark humor. Spark uses dry wit to describe even tragic events. This creates an unsettling tragicomic tone. Third person limit and omniscient mix. We often enter Sandy's perspective, but the narrator stands above all characters. Economy of style. The novel is very short, about 130 pages, but deeply layered. Nothing is wasted. Every sentence does work. Theoretical. Miss Brodie herself is theoretical. Her life is like a performance. Spark reflects in her dramatic narrative style. Spark's most brilliant technique is telling you the ending first, then making you read to understand how and why, not what. Here the important exam questions. Question number 1. Analyze the character of Miss Jane Brodie. Number 2. Discuss the theme of influence and betrayal in the novel. Number 3. What is the significance of Sandy's stranger in the novel? Number 4. How does Muriel Spark use narrative techniques in the novel? Number 5. What does prime mean in the context of novel? Number 6. Discuss the theme of education in the prime of Miss Jane Brodie. Number 7. How does Spark portray fascism in the novel? Number 8. Write a note on Muriel Spark narrative style. And then move forward. Here are the key lines to remember. Give me a girl at a impersonable age and she is mine for life. By Miss Brodie shows her obsession with influence and control over young minds. I'm in my prime. Her central declarations full of confidence but also dangerous self-delusion. You are the cream, they are cream. She elevates them above others. But this is also a form of control, making them dependent on her approval. Who is the greatest italic painter? Leonardo da Vinci. And what did he do? The painting ceilings. Shows her dramatic romantic teaching style, her favoring passion and grandeur over facts. She was betrayed like Julius Caesar. It is by narrator about Miss Brodie. Brodie sees herself as a tragic hero. Irony. Caesar was betrayed by a close ally. So was she. By Sandy. It is impossible to repent of love. By Miss Brodie. Her romantic justifications for everything she She frames her actions as love, not control. Here's the quick revision, everything in one slide. Author Muriel Spark, Scottish Catholic convent, Darkwit, published in 1961, set in 1930s Edinburgh. Here are the central characters. Miss Brodie, charismatic, controlling, fascist, sympathizing teacher. Key characters: Sandy, stranger, prospective girl who betrayed Brodie, becomes a nun. Key plots is Brodie influenced 6 girls, sends one to die in Spain, sends betrays her, Brodie forced to retire and dies. And here's the main themes: influence, betrayal, fascism, education, religion, and crime. Technique: non-linear, prolpis, flash forward, irony, omniscient, narrator, very short and emotional. Key chord: give me a girl at an impossible age and she is mine for life. Key irony: Brodie's greatest success, Sandy becomes her destroyer. Exam tip: always link character to theme. Brodie influence, fascism, Sandy influence or fascism is equal to betrayal and religion. So that's it from this video about The Prime of Miss Jane Brodie by Muriel Spark. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.